What's going on, y'all? It's me, Timmésha Burgess, creator of this here Fireside Chats for Global Women, because turning pain into power is sexy. And it's taken me a little while to talk about this, like verbally talk about this. I've written about it. I think I made a quick post about it a couple years ago, but I've never actually had a chat about it here around the fireside. And I feel it's about that time. They say the truth will set you free. And I've set myself free in so many ways. And this is one of the last, I think, pegs on my journey of freedom. Redemption song. I just heard Bob Marley, redemption song. I want to chat with you all about the time that I was threatened. My life was threatened by a stalker. It was somebody that I was dating, somebody I was getting to know. I met them on a popular online dating site. Many of you know this dating site. It was called Plenty of Fish. And I'm not blaming Plenty of Fish, okay? I'm just saying this is where I met this person, all right? This was, I don't even know, maybe 2015 is when I met this person, 2015, 2016. I'd heard about this site. I got on this site, and this was one of the first people that I met. As a matter of fact, I remember when I saw their profile, there was something in me even at that time that it was like I don't know if it was like an alarm that went off, but I remember there was like this deep, deep voice or this deep pull inside that was telling me, not this one. I remember distinctly. I remember looking at his photo, and this is 2015, 2016. This is long before, obviously, that I was tuned in, tapped in, and activated it as it relates to my intuitive abilities. Even at this time, that intuitive superpower or power was deep down, although underneath trauma, underneath pain, underneath all of the work that I had to do over the years to uncover it fully, it was screaming at me even then. Underneath all of the stuff, it was like a muffled scream that was saying, no, not this one. Just by me looking at this man's picture, I got to a point in my life where my loneliness and my need for somebody, I need for somebody to just be around, to hold me, to comfort me, or just be in my energy. That need was stronger than my inner voice. That desire, that pull was stronger than my inner voice. And I got on the site and saw that person. And when I saw his picture and felt that inner deep muffled scream, I ignored it. I went past. He had sent me I forget on how it works on that site. It's been many, many years after this experience. I never got back on again. But I forgot. I know he sent me like a flirt or whatever you call it. And I just would look at his pictures, and something about him, I just scrolled past. And he was persistent. And I said, okay. Even the second or third time I looked at his picture or his profile, even then I felt that nudge. But at this point, my loneliness had set in. So I responded. Next thing you know, we meet. We go out, and honey, y'all, I don't even remember our first date. I don't even remember it, but something about our first date, obviously, the loneliness or whatever else, I went back out with him again, right? This time he invited me to hang out with him and his family way deep, deep, deep down in the country, right? Long drive. I mean, it took maybe like an hour and some change to get to this part of Georgia. I can't even remember where we were, but it was deep, deep in the sticks, in the woods of Georgia. And I agreed to go. And he drove. So that means I had no other form of transportation, right? I wasn't in my own car. I was miles and miles away from home with a guy that I met online, and this was only our second time meeting. I even, obviously, second time, he knows where I live. I let him pick me up. And we go to his family's house, and he's like, yeah, my family's having a cookout. You should come. It'll be fun. I want you to meet my family. I want them to meet you. You're important to me already, And I agreed. And we got there, and I remember when we walked in, I remember even his own family was looking at me. That look kind of like, hey, I'm such and such. What's your name? Like that look. There was a look behind their eyes that said, there was a look behind their eyes that was hopeful for me, yet concerned for me. And I was the only one that didn't know, but everybody else did. The family was very nice people. They cooked out fried fish, potato salad, macaroni and cheese. Yeah, right. And it was a spread, and we ate, and the family was nice. And everybody played cards and laughed and had a good time. Now, the hours are going by, and it's about, I don't know, it's almost like 11 o'clock at night, maybe later. And we had gotten there early in the day. We got there like 12 in the afternoon. And we had a long drive back. And I was like, I'm ready to go where you are. And it was a couple of his cousins that were going to go to a club. As a matter of fact, it was later than that. It was almost 1 in the morning. I remember. Because I remember saying, it's almost 1 in the morning. And I wasn't prepared to go hang out at a club and stuff. And, but it was almost 1 in the morning. 2 of his guy cousins were going to a club. And he was like, well, I'm going to go. And she going to come because she riding with me. And by this time, this guy has had quite a bit to drink. And I'm going to say his name is CJ. His name CJ. That's what he went by. His legal name is something else, but he went by CJ. And he had quite a bit to drink, and this is the first time I'm getting to know him, so I had no idea that he had an alcoholic problem. And I remember his cousins were looking at me like, oh, shoot. And he was like, well, no, we're going to go hang out. And I was like, it's kind of late. I wasn't planning to hang out. I'm so tired. And he was like, no, we're gonna go. And he started flipping out, y'all. I mean, literally went from this seemingly nice guy to an absolute monster. So I said, no, I'm ready to go. Please, I don't mean to be rude. Maybe we can come back and do this another day. I'm just really, really tired. And I was so tired. And I actually worked in radio at the time. And I had to get up quite early to be at the radio station. And he went off, called me all kinds of bitches and hoes and you bitch, you gonna hang out. Oh God. Oh yeah. And his cousins were like, man, don't do this, man, don't do this. That in and of itself, saying, man, don't do this, man, don't do this, already was a telltale sign that this is something that they have seen him do before. It weren't like, man, what's wrong with you? Why are you tripping? It wasn't that. You okay? What's wrong with you? It was, man, don't do this, as if they had seen it before. And I was just flabbergasted. I had no words. I was like, one of his cousins said, you know what, I'll take you home. This cousin lived around the way. And one of his cousins said, I'll just take you home. I didn't know these people. I didn't even know this guy really. And I was like, I appreciate that. I said, yeah, I was willing to take any route out away from this guy. And the other cousin was like, man, take her home, man. She said she's tired. Look at it. My eyes were red. I mean, bloodshot red, because I was so tired. And he was like, man, you see, she's tired. She looked tired. Take her home. Take her home. You know, it's no big deal. He said, matter of fact, we're not going to even go anymore. We're not going to even go. We're not going to go. And he was like, no, man, we're going. He was just, they had surrounded him. No, that bitch gonna go. Oh God, y'all. And one of the cousins said, I'll just take you home. And I said, I will give you gas money if you can take me home. And he was like, don't worry about it, I'll take you home. And when I was getting up to get my purse, he loses his mind and was like, no, you're not going to take her home. I'm going to take her home. Okay. When his cousin offered to take me home, then he said, okay, I'll take her home. And I was like, I don't feel safe riding with you. He was like, no, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to take you home. I said, I can't even believe this. I was just like going off. I can't even believe this. What the hell is going on? I just want to go home. I'm going to have to call the police. And they were like, no, please don't call the police. He'll take you home. And I remember they taking him around a corner. It was about 3 or 4 cousins that surrounded him, took him around the corner, talked to him or something. We managed to get in the car. And as we're driving back for him to take me home, he is talking so bad to me, y'all. Saying all the names, calling me names. Bitch, I ought to let you out. Bitch, I ought to let you out on the side of the road right now and leave your ass here. Ooh, child. And I said, let me out. Just let me out. I will get out. And it was, let me tell y'all, when you're driving on country roads, it's deep, dark country wood sticks. There aren't any street lights, okay? We're talking about country. There are no street lights. The road that we were on was in the middle of nowhere. All I could see was darkness and land. There was no lights. The only lights there were is if a car was passing by. And I said, let me out. Just let me out. I will get home. I will get home. I'd never taken Uber before. Uber had just kind of come out at that time. And I was like downloading the app on my phone as he was talking. And I remember I was literally bunched up in the corner of the car, downloading the app. And I kept looking over and looking at him from my peripherals and looking over, checking his body language to see if he was going to try to put his hands on me or something. I was literally scrunched in the corner of the car towards the door, just in case this guy was going to hit me. I said, just let me out this car. I mean, I had it. I mean, he just kept going and going and going. It was so bad, y'all. It was like, I could have sworn I was on candid camera. I had to be on candid camera. I mean, I felt like I was almost being pranked or something because it was so bad, like just so bad out of the blue. And I said, just let me out, let me out. While he's driving, I open up the car door because I am willing to jump out of a moving car and roll into the bushes, into the cornfields, and stand on the side of the road and hitchhike back home and not be around this man. And he was like, when he saw me open the car door, he grabbed my arm and pulled me back inside. And he was like, okay, I'll take you. All right. I mean, he just, okay, I'll take you. All right, I'll take you. So you're going to be out here in the middle of the dark? I said, I will do anything to get away from you. He was like, no, I'm going to take you home. I'm going to take you home. And God, it was the most excruciating ride home. This man knows where I live. So he drops me off to my home, and I get out, slam the door, and I'm rushing inside. I can't remember what happened that night, but I know I went inside. I'm pretty sure he followed behind or whatever, but I went inside, locked the door. And I didn't even cry or anything because I was just in shock, you know. So let me tell y'all. He's calling me all the next day, begging to see me, apologizing. I'm so sorry. I was drunk. I have a drinking problem. I'm going to AA. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I go out. There's gifts on my front door from Diamond, something, gift on my front door, something, I don't remember, flowers. And he's calling for days and days and days. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Haven't you ever made a mistake? Haven't you? Don't you know how to forgive? Y'all, fireside chat women, let me tell y'all something. The woman you see before you now, it took me a long time to get here. When I look back on who I was, times that I've looked back on who I was, I cried for myself. When I talk about death and rebirth, who I used to be, I had to kill her. I had to kill who I used to be, or she was going to kill me. Because, there's such a thing as having a heart that's too pure, being too naive, too green, too whatever you want to call it. I was that girl. That guy called me for days and days and days, sent flowers, begged me to just go to lunch so I can hear him out. Y'all know what I did? I accepted to go to lunch with him. Met him for lunch. And he talked about his alcoholic problem, how he was going to AA, how he knows how good of a woman I am and how I didn't deserve that. And he pulled out all the stops he could. He said everything he could possibly say that would, in hopes that I would forgive him and give him another chance. And you know what? I did. I gave him another chance. When they say, fool me once, shame on you. But fool me twice, shame on me. So I give him another chance, and this chance nearly cost me my life. When I let him back in to my life, days and weeks had gone by. There was no problems. It was pretty smooth sailing, except for occasional riffs. I remember one night we went out to a club. This is when the monster was starting to reveal itself again in him. Went out to a nightclub and he flirted with the woman right in front of me. And people were looking at me like, does she see what he's doing? And I remember I was walking out and leaving, and he chased behind me. And he said, oh, that was my friend. That was somebody that I knew was a friend. And I remember we got into a huge argument. And then I said, just please take me home. And takes me home. And then the next day, I can't remember what happened the next day. It was something that happened. I can't even remember, y'all. I remember he would say stuff like, I remember one time he said something so strange to me. He said, there was a picture of me that he took on his phone when we were out one night. And when he came over to my house one day, he said these words to me. He said, they said that makeup doesn't match your skin. They said you don't look right. They said something. And I said, I don't even remember saying who was they. I just thought it was some women friends of his. And I said, I remember just thinking, well, whoever they are, they're haters or something. You know, I said, I don't care whatever they said. I never thought to ask who they were. Who they? And who are you showing my photo to? You know, who are these theys you speak of? When I think back on that moment, being where I am now intuitively, thinking back on that moment now, I almost strongly feel intuitively that it's like this man was sent to torment me. Like some people had ganged up together and said, we want you to hurt her and hurt her bad. This they sounded like maybe a coven of people. Like they paid him to come into my life and torment me. I promise y'all. Anyway, make a long story short. The final straw, he had gotten drunk again and started calling me out of my name again. And I said, this is it. I can't give any more chances. This is just the most toxic thing I've ever been. You know what? I remember reaching out because this person, CJ, said that he graduated from FAMU. He went to FAMU. And he used to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a football player. And he went to FAMU, and I knew another girl who went to FAMU, and they were in the same class. So I reached out to her, and this was a girl that we were in grade school together through elementary, middle school, and high school. I think we went to the same high school. She went to a different high school, but we went to the same elementary and middle school together. And her first name is Candace. I won't say her last name, but her first name is Candace. I reached out to her on Instagram and I said, Candace, now we went to school together. You know me. And I said, this person said they went to FAMU because they mentioned her. They mentioned her name before. And he said, yeah, I know Candace. You know, we were friends, went to FAMU together. And I reached out to her and I said, is this somebody that I can trust? And she says to me, he's cool, but just be careful. She never went into specifics about what that even meant, you know? But ladies, what I'll say to you is, if you have to ask somebody else if somebody is okay, then you already have your answer, because true purity, true authentic souls, you never have to question if it's real. You never have to question if they're safe. You never have to question it, because you will know it by the way it feels. And the mere fact that I had to question or ask somebody else if this guy was safe was a telltale sign for me. Should have been, but it wasn't. that he wasn't. She said, he's cool, but just be careful. And I remember, I think I might have said, what do you mean? And she said, nothing, just he's cool. You can give him a chance or something like that. That's what she said to me. And I don't blame her. But I will say, she knew something I didn't. And she chose not to divulge it to me. I don't know. Some people feel like, oh, I don't want to talk negatively about somebody, or I don't want to. But by speaking the truth of what she knew, could have saved me a lot of turmoil, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, if she had just been upfront. But she wasn't. And I found out the hard way. So the last straw happened, name calling, the disrespect, and I was done. And when I was done, I messaged him and I said, don't come to my home anymore. I'm done. This is it. I've had enough. He comes to my home anyway. I don't answer the door. He passes by my house. He's sending me text messages saying the types of cars that are in my front yard. At the time, I was living in a townhome. He texts me pictures of the cars that's in my yard because I would have friend girl over. He would text pictures proving to me that he drove by. He shows up one day with a Cartier box or something. My brother's living with me at the time. Thank God, thank the ancestors, thank the universe. My brother's living with me at the time. And this guy pops up at the house, that box, asking for forgiveness again. And thank goodness my brother's home. He opens the door, and I see this look in this guy's eyes and this person, CJ's eyes. It was a look I can't even explain. Even my brother saw it. And my brother was able to get him to leave. And I could even see it in my brother's eyes that, I could see it in my brother's disposition. He was like, I could tell in his disposition that he was thinking, I'm going to have to fight this dude. I could see it, and I can tell in his energy. He resisted for a minute, but he eventually left. And I remember him looking past my brother and looking at me. It's like my brother wasn't even, it's like if he could get to me. It was like something behind his eyes that was piercing. Like if he could get to me. But I was standing behind my brother. Thank goodness he was there. You know, the universe lines things up in a way. Because my brother had just moved here to Georgia and he came to stay with me. Had he not moved here to Georgia and the universe orchestrating it in a way where he came to live with me, so he left and my brother closed the door, and I remember my brother turned around and he looked at me and he said, my brother William, he turned around and he looked at me and said, Mimi, he's the only person that calls me Mimi. Only person I allow to call me Mimi. He said, Mimi, I was locked up with niggas like that. That's what he said. I was locked up with dudes like that. He is absolutely insane. He said, he crazy. He crazy, Mimi. And I know it because I was locked up with dudes like that. He said, I know crazy. My brother, he's had, he's had a, he's been out there around, and, he knows the game, he knows the streets, he knows. And he said, I was locked up with niggas like that. And excuse my for using that term, but that's how the conversation went. And when my brother said that, something in me just clicked on. For my brother to say that. Because my brother, he's not a man of many words, but when he speaks, is you better listen, right? Because he's sharing something from a very deep place. When he does speak, it's coming from a deep place because he's a man of few words. And when he said that, something in me was like, this is serious. Of course it already was, but yeah. So anyway, over the next few days, I get series of text messages. Him saying how he's going to kill me, how he's going to kill my family, my entire family, how he's going to do things to my home, my car. He says, I'm going to make you change your phone number. I'm going to make you change your phone number. And don't even think about calling the police, telling the police, because my cousin is a chief of police. And I will get off for basically saying anything that I do to you, I'm going to be able to get away with it because his cousin was a chief of police. So, needless to say, I, over the next couple of days, I file a police report. I go to the police station. I remember one of the police officers saying to me, there were 2 black police officers. And the police officer says to me, I said, I want to file a police report. This is why. There's this guy saying this. And the police officer says to me, well, you shouldn't be so pretty. A black man. Well, you shouldn't be so pretty. As if somehow my aesthetics justified my life being threatened, as somehow it was my fault because of aesthetics. Not, we will do everything we can to help you, to protect you, to make sure that this person is taken care of, arrested, nothing like that. I'm so sorry to hear this. You shouldn't be so pretty. The threats continued. Night after night, I would get different phone calls. I would block a number. He would call me from a different number. I would block that number. He would call me from different numbers. I would block. It's like he was getting burner phones, getting different numbers to call me all day, all afternoon, all through the night, wee hours in the morning, 1, 2, 3, every day, all day. Text messages, phone calls, different numbers. I'm blocking a different number. And it was nonstop for weeks. And I said, I can't take this anymore. I went to spend the weekend with my mom. I didn't even feel safe in my own home anymore. I remember calling the police again. The police came, and there was a different police officer, and he was a black man. And what he said to me sticks with me to this day. He came, I showed him the text messages, and he says, you need to go file a restraining order. You need to go get a restraining order. And that next day I went. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But this police officer said, he had to be about 50-something years old. And he says to me, do you have a gun? And I say, no, I don't have a gun. He said, you need to get one. After he read those text messages, y'all, this police officer says to me, you need to get yourself a gun. And he said, you need to apply for a license to carry a weapon, and you need to get yourself a gun. And he steps back into the corner of my home. He steps back into the corner and he said, if this man comes in here, because he said, let me tell you something. This is honest, real talk. He said, you can call 911, but we can't get here as fast as you would need us to. We can't get here quick enough, because reading these types of text messages, young lady, has got me very concerned for your life. Police officer told me this. He said, we can't get here fast enough, and you're going to need to know how to protect yourself. You need to get your license to carry, and you need to get yourself a gun. He said, if he comes in here, he said, I'm going to tell you what you do. He said, he comes in here, he said, you hold your gun like this. He said, you stand in the corner. You stand in the corner like this. And he comes in here, you aim, and you shoot, and you fire, and you better aim to kill. She said, you better aim to kill. I sat back some years later and I thought about that. And I talked to my mom about it. And I said, why would a police officer suggest that I aim to kill a man? Not wound him, not delay him, not paralyze him or nothing, kill him. He said, kill him. And my mom and I talked, and we understand that the law, the way the laws are written for women, those of you who have found yourself having to protect yourself, if you've been in a life and death situation, if you've been in a similar situation, the way the laws are written, there has been situations where criminals have broken into somebody's house to rob them, and the homeowners are home, and they shoot the criminal and they wound them, but the criminal gets away. The robber gets away. Do you know that there have been robbers who have robbed people's houses who have sued the homeowners for shooting them and wounding them and have won cases? Because that's how our laws are written, where people like that can get away with the crimes they were attempting to commit or committed because the way our laws are written. But the laws will protect murderers. The laws will protect murderers. Isn't that something? So the police officer telling me to shoot to kill him was so that I could get away with it because I'm protecting myself. Do not shoot to wound, because the law won't protect you that because this man trespassed and broke into your home. If you shoot him and he gets away, you're going to prison. Shoot to kill. That is how our laws are written. That is why he suggested it. Because if I could kill him, I would get away with it. That's self-defense. So the next day, after that police officer shared that with me, I went to file a restraining order. The first judge that I met with to file the restraining order was a black female judge. I showed her all the proof, all the text messages, everything. And she told me that he hadn't done anything. This was just talk. That he hadn't done anything, and she couldn't justify why a restraining order was needed. A black female judge said that shit to me. I went back again the next day. No judge would see me. I met with an advocate who gave me a 1-800 hotline number of how to, for women who, for domestic violence cases of relationships. I said, I'm not in a relationship with this person. This isn't a domestic violence case. Some people trying to be in a relationship. We don't live together. This is somebody who is threatening my life. I want to file a restraining order. Met with the advocate, gave me a 1-800 number, call the 1-800 number, and they can give you some advice on domestic violence in relationships. Wouldn't even hear me. I couldn't believe that I was getting a runaround like this. I went back again, third day in a row, to court. I met with a white female judge. She read those text messages, y'all. She said, this is textbook stalking. And I don't know why it took so long for this restraining order to be put in place for you. She said, I'm going to go a step further. That if he even attempts to reach out, we will arrest him on site. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and file for him to be arrested right now and I'm going to set his bond to such and such amount. A white female judge, y'all. When I tell you that even today, sharing this with you right now, that it makes me fucking cringe, that it makes me so fucking angry, that a woman that looked like me, saw the proof in the text messages, told me that it wasn't enough for her to want to file a police report, like something had to happen physically first. Like I had to be dead before you do something, sister. I had to go through a white female judge who even said herself that she doesn't know why it took this long. Why I had to come to the courts 3 times before anything was done. Now, I'm sharing that not because this is a race issue, but because there are certain people, especially women, especially melanin women, y'all, and I can say this because I've experienced this on multiple levels. Women, black women, why the fuck are some of you in positions of power? Some of you don't deserve to be there. You're in a position of power for what? You became a judge. To the black judge, if you ever see this, you became a judge for what? I came to you for help with the proof. And you sent me away, said it wasn't enough. You sent me away to my death. Do you know that? Not that it mattered that it came from a white judge, but the fact that it matters because I came to you first and you sent me away. It wasn't enough. I guess he had to kill me first before you decide to do something. So the white female judge carried it out. She said, if he sends another text message, you send the proof, we will have him arrested immediately. This is what we're going to set the bond to. Sure enough, sends a few more messages threatening. I send it to, as a matter of fact, when I left the speaking to the judge, they sent me over to another office of DAs, of detectives, agent, and was 2 guys, and they had my phone tapped. They tapped my phone. They did something, whatever they do, to have my phone tapped so that they could manage. I mean, y'all don't know. Y'all don't know how deep this got, how deep this went. These DAs had my phone tapped so they could manage or monitor all of the activity. So they did something to my phone. I gave them to my phone. They did some type of whatever they do to it. They had it hooked up to a machine. Whole 9, y'all. And sure enough, he sent messages threatening my life, calling me out my name, what he's going to do. He had came to my home when I wasn't there, and he must have rung the doorbell so many times because my doorbell was punctured with a hole shattering it, like he was. I sent proof, photos, everything to the DAs. The DAs gave it to the judge, and he was arrested immediately. The restraining order was put through. I had to go to court. My mom went with me. And this restraining order till this day, it went, if he violate restraining order, he would be, arrested. And I remember one of the DAs reaching out to me and saying, he's been arrested. We have him in custody right now. What would you like us to do? They asked me, what would you like us to do? I said, keep him. I said, keep him and put him in therapy. I don't know what you can do. I just want to be safe again. This is a restraining order that to this day, I have to drive around with in my glove compartment every day of my life. And I have to renew it every so often. When my mother was wrongfully convicted of a crime and taken to prison in 2017. Some of y'all know about that story, some of you may not. It's a story that we've told. You can find the story here on Fireside Chats with Global Women. With me and my mom, we've talked about it. When my mother was taken to prison in 2017, I get a message from a user on Facebook, no name, no photos. It was just said user or something. And the message said, I see what's happening, what's going on with your mother. Because I had went public with it and I had taken to the news, the media, fighting for her life. Oh, I've been through so fucking much, too much. Too much for one person in one lifetime. He said, I see what's happening. I see what's happening to your mother. And because of that, I'll leave you alone. He didn't give a damn about the restraining order. He didn't give a damn about being arrested. He didn't give a damn about what it cost every time he had to get bailed out. This person didn't care about any of that. He was willing to make it his life's dedication to torment me for as long as he could. He was violating the restraining order left and right. Every time he sent me a message, I was sending it to the DAs. They said every time there was any anonymous call, a spam call, anything, you send it to us. He was violating it left and right. Even when they wanted to arrest him, they had to find him first. This is how serious this got for me, y'all. I got a message from that man. The only reason that he agreed to leave me alone is because he saw what I was going through with my mother. And tells me that's the only reason why he'll leave me alone. I don't know why I'm sharing this now. It's been so many years. I honestly don't have any closing remarks, any final words, other than, if you must, learn how to fight, protect yourself, and if necessary, get a license to carry, and when necessary, when it comes to you and yours, on your own land, on your own property, if you must, shoot to kill. Get your license to carry, and if they infiltrate your home, shoot to kill. If it means your life and the life of your loved ones. Ladies, turning pain into power. I'm not new to this. Everything I talk about, everything I share is because I've gone through some of the same shit. Don't look at me and think, oh, well, looks like she got it figured out. Huh. Oh, she looks like never been through anything. The saying, we don't look like what we've been through. When I talk about the journey of alchemy, turning pain into power, this is what it looks like. I'm so glad I don't look like what I've been through. But I'm sharing my story with you. So you know that what I talk about is coming from a real one. Not some shit I heard, but shit that I've lived myself. To those of you who are subscribed here, thank you for being here. Obviously, if you're here, I'm sharing what resonates with you on a deeper level, and I'm glad to know it. For those of you who are not, if you decide to subscribe, that's great. Happy to welcome you into the fold. Please like this video, comment down below, and tell me how you turned your pain into power. If you've experienced some of the same type of pains and what you did to save yourself and get yourself free. And have you had to shoot to kill to protect yourself? I am in no way promoting gun violence or violence by any means, but I am promoting protecting yourself from people, places, and things that want to harm you and yours simply because of their own illness. So anyway, I will see y'all on the next cast. Chat with y'all next time. Ciao for now.